Chris. Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
The Friday morning conversation with
right there.
Stapleton.
Good to see you, buddy. What's your hat there? That's Nashville?
Oh, no, Nashville Stunts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think that's what I'm wearing. Is it blue, red?
Right there. On it.
There we go.
Boom. Nashville Sounds?
I think so.
You a big baseball guy?
I like baseball. Yeah.
I used to be a big baseball guy, and I still am kind of a baseball guy. But baseball's kind of too slow now. They play too many games. 162 games. I can't keep up with enough to be a big.
Well, they changed the rule though.
The pitch clock.
Yeah, and that speeds it up.
But it's still 162 games.
You don't have to watch all of them.
I do, because I'm going to bet them.
No.
So I got to watch them all. What about football? You watch a lot of football?
No. I mean, I don't watch a lot of sports. Period. I like to go to games.
What's your favorite kind of game to go to?
A good one.
Yeah.
Any sport, it doesn't matter. If it's a good game, a slow game that's, kind of sloppy play. I don't want to see that, but I want to see guys, getting after it.
What about coaching? Would you ever coach?
No.
Your kids? Ever?
No.
You wouldn't coach any 7-8-year-old?
I'm a terrible teacher. I'm a terrible coach. I don't think I could do any of that.
Why? I feel like you're a warm person. You write lyrics. You know what to say. Why don't you feel like you never assistant coached?
No, couldn't do it.
No patience?
I have patience. I just don't have the skill to teach. It's a real skill. It's like a talent.
It's not. Eddie coaches kids.
Yeah, 9-year-old basketball.
Yeah, dude never played a game in his life.
Yeah. I do it.
He thinks the ball is square.
Yes, but do they get better?
Yeah.
Yeah, we won a few games. Just a few.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it also has to do with I work on the weekends a lot. So,
yeah.
And a lot of those things happen on the weekends.
Yeah, the great thing about working on the weekends is if you want to drop your kids off at school, you could probably do that. I didn't think about that for artists. You guys are able to have a somewhat normal and an abnormal life. That would be pretty nice because you're gone every weekend.
Not every weekend. I mean, you try to adjust that to where you're not.
But like my life, I got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It sucks.
I don't know.
No, I do. It sucks, Chris. I think you didn't hear me.
What time are you done?
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Well,
okay. And you have to go to bed at what time?
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Yeah. I just work all day, all night.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids yet, though.
Right.
So
I have 5, so you and I have nothing to talk about.
Let me ask you a couple questions about me then, because eventually we're going to have kids.
Right.
What's fun about them?
There's lots of stuff that's fun about them.
Because I feel like they're just taking up time. What's fulfilling about
Easy,
it?
man.
Don't play this back.
I don't have any kids, right?
Yeah.
I'm literally asking you a question. You have 5 kids, but what do I do? You just always got to take care of them. I've been very selfish my whole life. I've lived by myself. I didn't get married till 40, and I don't have any kids. But it just feels like, holy crap! Once you have a kid, you don't even have a life anymore. True or false?
I think that's false. You have a different life.
Okay.
It's a different life. Your life is in a lot of ways dedicated to helping them become.
Man, I just feel like I'm too selfish for that.
I don't think you are. I think you probably have it. You do a lot of charity work. Right?
I do. I think a fear too is I didn't have a dad growing up, and
right,
and I didn't have parents that were together.
Okay.
And my mom was out. I never saw models. I never saw parents.
Okay.
So maybe I feel like I'm just scared I'm going to be a terrible parent, and I'm using all of this as a cover for that.
Okay. Well, I mean that could be true. That sounds like I'm not a therapist here, but this got real hard.
Play a therapist.
Right?
You got 5 kids. I'm scared to death. I'm gonna be like my biological father and jump out.
Well, I mean, I think there's a wanting to be better than the parents that you had.
Yeah.
Even if you had good parents, is if you start there, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, I think it just scares me when somebody says they have 2 kids. I'm like, why? Why?
What other things scare you?
Heights.
Heights. I'm scared of heights. I got that one.
You ever jumped out of a plane?
No.
I did.
I wanted to.
I did.
Jump out of a plane? See, you're scared of heights and you jump out of a plane.
I did it by myself. I drove up to the place by myself because I was scared to death and said, I want to jump out of a plane. And they thought I was like a suicide bomber or something. I was by myself going, I want to jump out of a plane. And so I went up with a family I didn't know and jumped out of a plane.
Did you do it because you were afraid of it?
Yes.
So by that logic, are you going to have kids just because you're afraid of it?
Not just because. I will have kids because I love my wife and I think I do want to have kids. But if I jump out of the plane and I die, that's on me. If I bring a kid into the world and I suck, that's on them. You know?
It is. And, listen, you're going to fail. We're all going to fail as parents.
This is true.
100%. You can't be a perfected parent. And I think you have to allow yourself that. And then, discuss it with your children too. Like, it's okay to apologize to your children. Say, hey, man, sorry, I was out of line there. And that's not something that we had as a generation, I don't think, before us or even particularly before, our parents' generation. Like, but I think that's probably the healthiest way to handle it is allow yourself to be human in it. And your kids will see that and hopefully, forgive you for your shortcomings and then really kind of adopt your strengths.
I'll have a kid. You jump out of a plane. We'll make the deal right here.
I don't think I'm allowed to jump. I don't think my life insurance allows me to jump out of a plane.
No, I'm playing.
Listen, I wanted to jump out of a plane at one point in time.
Why? What happened that made you not jump out?
I was young and single. I just never did it. Bungee jumping. Have you done that one? No.
I feel like that's less safe than airplane. And
yeah. See, I got in line to do that one time.
Yeah.
One of those things on like a tower, and while I was in the line, it snapped on a guy.
Oh. No way.
I'm not kidding.
You are.
How many people in front of you?
Oh, maybe. I mean, it was a long line. It's maybe 25, 30 people.
But while you were there, oh my!
I was in line and snapped on a guy, and now they had the big cushion below because maybe this happens all the time. I don't know, but the guy landed in the thing and he was fine. But that was the moment that I got out of line to go bungee jump.
There's no way.
What's amazing is other people stayed in the line.
Because now, what are the odds it's going to break, right?
Yeah, well, they're going to fix that.
I'm out when it does that. So where do you find your joy not work? Because we talk about work a lot and your music and you're great. You're the best, A+, king of the world. But like, what do you like that's not music related at all? Where you kind of find yourself? Yeah.
Well, I love my job and I love I would sit and play a guitar for enjoyment, and technically that's probably work, but it's also something I would just sit and do.
And it's probably something that since you love it, you've gotten really good at. That's what I tell people when I speak to them. It's like, hey, if you find something that you love to do, you'll naturally get better at it because you love to do it. So you're going to be doing it so much.
Right. Just make your vacation your vocation kind of thing, but definitely guitar, but, just spending time with the family and, being around my kids and watching them, doing whatever they want to do. If it's playing video games or, building Legos with them or drawing pictures or whatever that is, that those things I enjoy quite a bit.
Can you draw? Are you a pretty good artist?
No, I mean, I'm okay. I'm not, I draw a mean, cartoonish stegosaurus. I'll tell you that.
Is that from having to draw a stegosaurus?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not from like natural ability.
Yeah, my oldest children when they were younger, they used to want to draw dinosaurs all the time. So like, oh, here so I'm looking up pictures of dinosaurs, trying to figure out how to draw dinosaurs.
Did you know Eddie thought that dinosaurs were not real
Until recently. I thought it was just like Greek mythology, like, oh yeah, they roamed the earth, cool.
He's got 4 kids, by the way.
But now I do believe, Chris, they are real.
Hold on, I'm going to have to process.
Yes, exactly. Same thing. College degree, educated, 4 kids.
What college?
Sam Houston State.
Okay.
Did not believe in dinosaurs.
Did they believe in dinosaurs there?
Well, we never talked. I mean, you don't go to college and talk about dinosaurs.
You didn't take like a geology class or
nope.
Something like that?
Nope. And I remember going, Chris, to the museum and seeing like prints or whatever. Like, oh, that's cute. Like, they're making that up. I don't know.
It's like Zeus to him.
Yeah, exactly.
He thought the T-Rex was like Zeus.
I mean, well, Zeus is not in the Museum of Natural History. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know.
No, I've changed my mind, Chris. I believe in him now.
Smithsonian or something. I'm having a hard time with this.
No, we did too. We did too for a long time.
Yeah.
We thought he was kidding, but he really didn't know enough about them to think that they were real.
You sure this is not like an Andy Kaufman thing? Where
It is not.
Perpetuating the myth that he didn't believe in
It is
dinosaurs?
not. It is not. I thought so too for a while. Is it true that you have a specific car that you've had with you forever and that you play guitar in the same old guitar, same car, and that's what you go to the studio with every time you go?
Not the car, no.
I was reading urban legends about you, and that was the thing that you.
Oh, good luck. There's a lot of weird ones.
So that's not true at all.
No, I mean I've got the Jeep that's on the interior of the Traveler cover, and I drive that that Jeep, and it's not necessarily it's not like a ritual.
And it's not one from like your age 17 that you've had the whole time you refuse to get out of. That's the legend.
No.
Dang. I need to start legends about me.
You were, I don't.
I was what?
Oh, let's hear it. Come on, I want some legends.
Well,
No,
this
but
isn't
mine
a-
are- I wanna start
this isn't
untrue
a legend.
legends.
This is
Untrue
true.
legends?
Yeah, like largest scrotum ever. And it would be like,
How is that a legend?
well, it's not true. But it was like I was known for that.
Is that the first thing that popped in your mind to make it that you wanted to be an untrue legend about yourself?
I think so, Chris.
Yeah.
You're in that boy band.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have one. Oh, I was in
Yeah.
O-Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember that? I want it all, nothing at all.
Not really, but
I was in a boy band, O-Town.
okay. How'd you do?
They kicked me out.
They kicked you out.
And that is an urban legend about me.
I think you should keep that one rolling.
Yeah, I do too. I've never lost paper, rock, scissors in my life.
Never once. That's pretty good.
I learned to look in people's eyes and I can beat them. I know where they're going to go with it.
You're like, World Series of Poker, but with
I've never lost.
Rocks
I've
in
never
paper.
lost 2 out of 3. I've lost 1 out of 3, but I've never lost 2 out of 3. Not in the last 10 years, which is crazy. And so people will come and play me all the time, and I play, and I never lost. It's crazy. So that's another one that's not true.
okay. I was just checking.
But I've made-
So you were selling it right then. I was
But-
believing.
But you went from never lost to just lost every once in a while to.
No. 1 out of 3 is not. It's like the World Series. You can lose 3 games.
Yeah, but you still lose.
He's calling a match 2 out of 3. Right?
Yeah. It's like winning Wimbledon.
Do you
Got
prefer 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5?
Two out of 3. 2 out of 3.
I think I like 3 out of 5.
Let me ask you about music because we're gonna just talk like this forever. I got to get some
That's
music out of
that's
it.
what the people want.
I
They don't
know,
wanna- yeah.
I know. Some do, but some will be like, "You had one of the greatest artists of our lifetime in, and you didn't even talk about music." So I'm gonna do a little bit of this. Whenever someone asks you to be on a song, would you rather them ask you to play guitar on a song or to sing on a song?
I would rather ask them to.
Or they would ask you to.
I
be
would
on,
rather them ask me to be in on it from the beginning.
as in the creation, production wise, or
All
the
the
writing.
way.
Yeah.
That's what I would prefer. But, depending on who they are and what the song is, and those are different scenarios. Like I do like to play guitar, but also, I find out the older I get, the more I really want to be in on the creation of things.
Well, I'm gonna let
That's
you,
what I want.
I'm gonna let you in on a song that I'm working on. I haven't even started yet, but it's the hardest sing along ever.
Okay.
And it's called Plural Rural Murals. And you're driving through no one will write this with me. You're driving through the country, and there's a lot. You're looking everywhere, and they're everywhere. So plural, more than one. Rural, because it's the country.
Thanks for explaining
And
what
there are
plural means
murals,
to me.
yes. So we're driving through,
appreciate that.
and it's like, all right, everybody sing along, and it's about plural rural murals. And the thing is, it's hard to sing it. So
Right.
if you're a man of your word, you just got in early on that one.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Okay.
Did,
not
is this-
committed.
Did you just come up with that?
I know. I've been thinking about it for a long time.
You've been thinking about plural rural murals.
The
for
hardest
a long
sing
time?
along ever. I want to write the hardest sing along ever. It's funny and catchy, but it's like the chorus. Is,
Would the verses be just as
yeah.
Deep.
tongue tied?
They don't have to be, but
I think they should
The
be.
first verse should probably be setting it up, and then you do the chorus, and then the tongue ties in the second verse because now you know the joke, and then the bridge.
Just Billy Joel it. Just do like a
Someone,
bunch of.
no, everybody,
Well,
come
yeah,
on,
just
come on,
name a bunch
on.
of things that rhyme in ways that are hard to say, and then that's the chorus. It doesn't have to make sense.
I don't feel like that's enough to be considered a writer, so you don't get no percentage on that one.
Are you calling Billy Joel not a writer?
Nope.
I mean,
So I'm moving. I did not call him off. I did not say. So White Horse is interesting because you wrote that song originally for it
was a Lone Ranger film. Yeah.
Lone Ranger.
I mean, loosely. I walked in to write with Dan Wilson. He's like, "Hey, they're looking for songs." Neither one of us necessarily, I don't think, had like an in to the Lone Ranger film. He had just heard that they were looking for songs for it, and it sounded like a good idea. And sometimes you just need a catalyst, in a session like that to write something. And so that was our catalyst that day. It was like, "Hey, well, let's write. What would a Lone Ranger movie song be?" And that's what this was.
when you write a song, do you send it off and let it be free and the people that pick the songs, or do you go, this is one I think is as a single, we should run with this one? Or do you feel like they're all singles and you let those people do that?
It's probably a little bit of both. I think Damon and the folks over at Universal would say we had discussions about it, and sometimes I make them uncomfortable, and sometimes they make me uncomfortable, and somewhere in the middle of that, we arrive on what the path is. And I think this was not an obvious thing to go with, probably.
That's why I ask about that question about this song, because again, there's no context of Lone Ranger. It's just, this is Chris's new song, The White Horse.
Right.
So,
Well, and there shouldn't be. That movie, it shouldn't be, really. That has nothing to do with that movie, really. Other than that's the story of how the
Of how it
song
wrote.
came to be.
yeah.
As far as picking it for a single, I do like to be, for lack of a better word, disruptive. And do things that are maybe a little harder. to sell or maybe different enough.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would I do that, or why do I want to do that?
No, why would you do that? Do you ever pick one that you think will be, yeah, this one sounds like a traditional radio single, because you do constantly put out songs that go number one that don't sound like other songs that have gone number one?
Well, I think that's the only thing that you can have to differentiate yourself from something that sounds like everything else.
You have songs on your albums. I'm a big fan, by the way. Bobby here, big fan. Thank you.
Hey, nice to meet you, Bobby.
Thank you. Bobby, Washington Post.
Yeah.
You have songs that are definitely more radio, we'll call it radio friendly, that don't hit the radio as singles, and some of your songs that don't feel like they would be radio singles hit radio and then become a single. Like, it's almost like you're picking harder songs just so you can do it for the sake of it, because that's who you are.
Well, I mean, you may be giving me too much credit that I'm picking them wholly. There's definitely a discussion around it, and I have opinions in it. But, sometimes it's like, all right, well, if you guys think that's what we should do, let's do that. Or sometimes I'm like, well, I think we should do this. I know that's going to be difficult for you and may only make it to number 16, but let's do that, because I think that I'm always trying to look for things that represent the album. And if you can represent out the album over the course of putting singles out on the album, I think that is for what I like, the things that would draw people to the album, go, oh, well, that's different. Maybe I'll go check out what else is on the album. And that's always my goal. And I think that is probably a different mentality than other people have when they just want the biggest hit they can have.
When you're writing songs as your day job and you're going, 5 days a week, and you're Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes 2 times a day.
I don't do that anymore.
But you did, because you have like 170 cuts, right? So there for years you're writing a bunch.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I first got to town, I would write 2 and 3 times a day.
But how do you keep coming up with new ideas? Because it's almost like a new way to say the same thing. Like or do you sometimes, if it didn't work before, do you try that same idea again in a different way?
I don't like to recycle myself necessarily, but there's certainly, things that you can lean into technique-wise that make sense. I know how this song goes. Like,
do you get writer's block coming up with ideas?
I'm sure I probably do. I don't necessarily think of it as that. They'll either come when they come or they don't. And when you're doing the thing where you go in and you're working, as a blue collar, working it like a songwriter would, you go in and you work it like a job, and you go in, and even if you don't have anything that day, 9 times out of 10 your co-writer has something. Or you sit there, if you go someplace with a purpose to do something, I think you get really good at turning that thing on. So I have no problem walking into a room and going, oh, let's write a song. And I'm a big strum and hum guy too. So I start from a melody. I start from the musical side of things a lot more than I would start from a lyrical side of things anyway. And then I would find words in the melody. I'd start humming nonsense until a word popped out. And all right, well, what does that mean in the context of what this song is? And then you try to form an idea around that. But, and I've also walked in and a co-writer has handed me an entire lyric and said, hey, I don't have a melody for this. It can be that, or the converse can be true. Someone would walk in with this wholly formed melody and go, I need lyrics over top of this. It can go any number of ways, and you have to be open to doing it any way that presents itself that day. And so I don't want to worry about ideas. I don't worry about running out of ideas, because chances are, if you have an idea, it's already been done some way anyway. So I don't have any notions that we're reinventing or coming up with wholly original things all the time, because you just can't do that.
I don't have a melody for plural rural murals.
Okay. What are you thinking?
Just think. I'm not. I have
the shuffle.
I have the lyric. No, it's more of it's more like soul, like something that Stapleton would do. But I haven't been.
I don't know.
It
feels like a shuffle to me.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, a shuffle.
What does
But
that mean?
I don't know. Sometimes I just nod and say stuff. How'd you get involved?
Come
with
on, man. This is a country music show. You can know what a shuffle is.
Well, I know like the timing of a shuffle.
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
Like a waltz and a shuffle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
It's a shuffle.
Okay. Well, I know how to shuffle cards.
Yeah. Are you good at it?
Oh yeah, my grandma taught me how to gamble when I was 6 years old.
You're mean at it.
I used to cheat a lot.
Yeah.
My grandma.
Can you stack a deck?
I can go under pretty quick without anybody noticing. But I haven't in a long time.
Yeah.
But I used to in college. I would cheat and make. That's how I made a lot of money. Was cheating at cards. And then I played poker for a long time. I would go to Vegas every weekend. Won a big tournament once. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, you know how to do it.
And then I had to stop cold turkey because all I was doing was consumed in cards. Doyle Brunson books, odds. I was just, everything I did was doing this show and reading about cards. So I stopped. What are you obsessed with? Knives?
I wouldn't say I'm obsessed with them. Guitars, probably. Yeah.
More guitars or knives?
Oh, guitars. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Amplifiers, gear, anything that can be made useful in creating music, even if it's in the most wild, weird way,
what do you mean wild, weird? Like,
just like buying a 1970s drum machine or something, something weird or not. Instruments I can't even play, drums, like I'll buy things that I can't even play just to see if I can make them lead to something.
Like creatively, sometimes you'll find something it'll give you a sound or a texture, and that can take you somewhere else.
100%, yeah.
That's pretty cool. What instrument do you think would help you do plural roll murals? Exactly. You don't know yet too much. It's over your head.
Think about it.
Yeah, it's over your head. Okay, look, I got two final questions for you. You know I love you, so I got two final questions for you. I keep you here all day. You are known as a prolific songwriter now and guitar player, but I'm going to ask you to put that back on somebody else. Have you ever been in the room, and it could be one of your buddies, it could be somebody you wrote with the first time, that had a concept or a lyric that you were just like, oh my God, that is awesome?
Yes, pretty much every time I rhyme with somebody.
What comes to mind is one of the last times that happened?
Shoot. I mean, once again, I've co-written with somebody maybe once in the last 2 years, so I don't do a lot of that anymore.
Well, what about one of your hits from 5 years ago?
From 5
If somebody
years
gives
ago?
you like a great lyric inside of it.
Well, I mean, most of the time when that happens, it would have been with Mike Henderson, who's no longer with us, but he was a poet, and I would walk into that a lot in that room.
And just be blown away.
Yeah, just like, well, okay, yeah, my function in that room most of the time was to make up a melody.
Do you get tagged, or people want to always show you people singing Tennessee Whiskey? I would assume everywhere you go.
Not a lot. I mean, people will send it to me when they're in some place that they don't think that they're going to hear it. Like somebody will be in Mexico and send a mariachi band playing it or something, which is awesome.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's like that song. When I was on Idol too, everybody would try to sing. You have made that song just ubiquitous in all of music.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that gets to you because you're in it, but man, it's even from all the shows and musical and this, everybody wants to sing that song all the time, where it's like, cool, that's good, but let's stop. Like,
yeah, it's come to the point. I mean, I'm sure it's become.
Etta James at Last, they do that too a lot.
Yeah.
Like, great song, but when so many people sing it.
Yeah, well, it's hard, like Willie Nelson's Crazy is another song like that I'm not saying.
It's not Willie or the song, but it's the people that keeps in every version of it.
And there's so many versions of songs,
right.
Like sometimes, and sometimes they're done too. Like you don't need to do them, but there's always somebody that can, bring something to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always, and I think the real challenge when you have a song that becomes that recognizable or fun for people to sing, the challenge becomes what can you bring to it, and it's almost like some kind of game for people, for singers almost. Like I'm going to put this on it, and I don't know.
Do you ever not want to sing that song anymore?
No. Why would I not want to sing that song anymore?
I don't know, because you sang it so many times.
I mean, I've sung a lot of songs a lot of times. That song is the reason that you're sitting there talking to me right now. For the most part.
You were on before that. We had you on before
That's
that.
True. That's true. You did, but that's the reason that you continue to talk to me. In a lot of ways.
I'm in love with you. That's why I continue to talk to you, because I'm in love with you.
You have a lot of people on this show that sometimes, and I probably was in this category at one point, where, and forgive me for not knowing how it works, but I think you probably have to have them on because they have a current single out or.
I used to
something.
have to do that. Not anymore.
Not anymore?
I don't have to do anything. Really, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do anymore.
Okay.
Every
Well,
once in a while,
that's
it's a client
good.
thing, but mostly it's like.
Yeah. Well, but also sometimes it's a relationship thing. I'm sure where it's like, hey, I got my guy here, bring him on, or my,
For sure.
or my. This is the new act. She's really good. I think you should check it out. And you have to roll the dice on those things sometimes. I think, and that's one of the strengths of this show. I think is you bring people on that nobody's ever heard of, which I was one of those people at some point.
Megan Maroney covered What Are You Listening To? You played that on the show before. Have you heard her version?
I don't think I have.
Oh
no.
my God, it's awesome.
Good.
It's like that song was so. I was always so disappointed that wasn't that first song because when you that song, I loved it.
I think everything worked out like it was supposed to. It's all good.
Do you believe in that? Do you believe in everything working out like it's
I
supposed
do.
to?
Even but particularly in the times that you're frustrated, thinking that something's supposed to be. I don't understand. This is a good whatever. I mean, it applies to any part of life. I think, when things aren't working out like you think they should, and you've done all the things that you think you're supposed to do to get the result that you think you're supposed to get, and it's just not lining up. I think if you can take a deep breath in those moments and go, all right, well, there's a reason none of this is lining up. I don't know what it is at this moment. I can't see it. I'm not happy about it. But move on with time and keep on pushing. And eventually you get to a place where you're like, oh, the reason that this didn't happen is because this other thing needed to happen.
And that's like Marcus Aurelius, like Meditations, the book. You just gave the whole book right there. And also, it's like that's why he hasn't taken plural murals. There's got to be a real reason. There must be a really good.
I mean, I've been
artist
thinking about it the whole time.
Okay,
I do think
all right.
it's a shuffle.
Okay, well, let me know because I just don't have the melody. But okay, Chris, last question. Last question. When are you doing more music?
When am I doing more music?
Yeah.
I just put a record
In
out, man.
November, I know, but let's like, I've listened to it a lot. I still like it, but I'm saying, there's higher. You gonna do lower?
I hadn't thought about it until now, but no, that's not a real thought currently. There wasn't any thought in carrying that on through into something. But
Is anything recorded right now?
oh no,
Oh, okay, then okay.
I mean, listen, all records have things that are recorded that don't exist in a
But
commercial way.
new that have happened since for a new something, nothing exists.
No,
Okay, all right, that's good. We're done then. I'm done with them. Anybody else good?
Not good.
All right. Chris, congratulations. I love when you come around.
man, thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. You guys heard of this guy, Chris Stapleton?
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
good?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, good to see you. There he is. Chris Stapleton,
Great to see
everybody. All American Road Show back out. So go check it out. He's got a bunch of great acts. The Warren Treaty, freaking love him.
Awesome.
Alan Stone, love him. I could go through the whole list. You have great taste.
Well, my wife has great taste, and because she is always the front, she's the tip of the spear on steering some of the opener stuff. So she's the discovery person in our house. I listen to music that I listen to when I'm 17 a lot, or guys that are dead, but that's a good combo.
Sounds dark, man.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go there. All right, there he is. Chris Stapleton, everybody. Nice job.
It's a Bobby Bones show.